Guys, we are on vacation, but we're still bringing you the breaking news, guys. We got so much that's going on. Trump did it. We told you guys this guy would handle it. Trump did it. Trump's team, Elon Musk, Scott Bessent, and guys, Dan Bongino are making history right now. This is insane what I get to tell you today. Not only has Trump secured a trade deal with China that is literally going to change the entire world, but it's going to address a $1.2 trillion trade deficit that the United States is going to be winning big time with, guys. If you love this, let me hear your thoughts in the chat. This is the art of the deal happening in real time, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Also, our boy, Dan Bongino, who is the deputy director of the FBI, came out today and has now made comments that they are going to be releasing. Guys, I love this. They're going to be releasing files on the COVID-19 cover-up, the Mar-a-Lago raid, and the Epstein files, guys, literally this week, guys. We have so much to go over today, so much breaking news. We knew that this guy with Kash Patel wouldn't take no for an answer and would be able to reveal the truth with full transparency to the American people, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is amazing. Also, want to say this, guys, because I'm telling you, not only did Dan Bongino reveal all that, he's also talking of releasing the fraud that they have found with the Biden administration, Kamala Harris, and top Democratic officials. This is insane. Listen to this. So the moment that Kamala Harris lost the election, Biden began sending Democrat-aligned NGOs and companies $1.3 billion per day. Unaccounted for, no receipts, almost $100 billion before Trump took office. Well, now that Doge has found that, thank you, Elon Musk, they are investigating it, and they have found that it was 100% intentional and that there were no receipts for most of the money that was sent out. So think about it like this. In the prior 15 years, the same loan office only gave out $40 billion. So within 100 days before Biden leaves, they give out $100 billion, but in the prior 15 years, it was only $40 billion. Guys, this is the corruption that we are finding at the highest level. Let's go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and this is even better, guys. President Trump orders DHS to bring on an additional 20,000 more ICE agents to increase deportation efforts. Their goal is to have 600,000 illegal immigrants deported by the end of the year. They have deported 160,000 thus far. Trump is doing what he said he would do. Promises made, promises kept, guys. We got a ton of breaking news to get into today, guys. This is huge. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, guys. Thank you so much for all of our subscribers, all of our viewers. We could not do it without you. We are so grateful for your support. Oh, and I got to say real quick, too, Happy Mother's Day to everybody. We love you all in the chat. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you so much to everyone that supports our channel, whether you're a member, or whether you give a super chat donation. Want to give some love to Denise Clark, Custom Art, and Elaine Demeen. Y'all show them some love in the chat. If you don't mind doing us a huge favor, guys, of hitting that thumbs up like button. We are... this is such a great show today. Why? Because Trump is winning. America is winning. We've got Trump, who is literally, the art of the deal has happened with China. This has been done over Switzerland in the past weekend. We have Dan Bongino releasing all the files on the COVID-19 cover-up, the FBI, the cover-up with the Mar-a-Lago raid, and the Epstein cases, and all the investigations that are now starting for the Biden administration. They gave out over $100 billion before Trump took office to only Democrat-aligned NGOs. So much fraud, so much corruption, but we got you guys. We're going to reveal it for you. This is huge. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Check this out.
I know it's been a busy week with all the new Pope stuff, and that kind of dominated a lot of the coverage, but I think we should talk about this tonight. All the winning President Trump and company got done this week, and way beyond that. Okay, if you voted for President Trump, you should be heading into the weekend feeling pretty good. Well, clearly, the Trump administration is as well. I want to start with this. This moment in the Oval Office yesterday seemed like they were having fun. while talking about the new trade deal struck with the UK.
And the Democrats are fighting it only because they want to fight. They have Trump derangement syndrome. You know, if it was somebody else, they wouldn't fight. If you had a normal person, if you had some stiff sitting behind you, they'd be fine. But they have Trump derangement syndrome. You know, Senator Schumer's become a Palestinian. Welcome. I don't know when they're going to give him the ceremony, whatever the ceremony may be. But it's terrible what's happened to the Democrats.
One thing I've always said is Trump is hilarious. He's a funny guy, genuinely. Even the guy from the UK was laughing in that video, and he's right. The president is right. It is terrible what has happened to the Democrats. Imagine this, everybody. There's a new era being ushered in here in the United States, one that prioritizes us, the American people. President Trump is systematically going from country to country, reworking trade deals to benefit the American people, and you're completely against it. Imagine that. Doesn't make
guys, and I'm super excited, guys, because I just got to show you. It's this big, guys. It's this big. Watch this. This is literally from Dan Bongino, FBI releasing the files on COVID cover-up, Mar-a-Lago raid cover-up, the Epstein cases, and more, guys. Let me hear what you think about in the chat, guys. This is going to be such an epic week. We are winning like nobody's business, guys. I am so excited for this. We are living through history right now.
Much sense to me, as I'm sure it doesn't make much sense to you either at home watching. But like the president said, they have severe cases of Trump derangement syndrome, TDS. That's going to be an arching theme tonight. They're so eager to try and make him look bad, they wind up with egg on their face time and time again. Here is the former White House press secretary, Jen Psaki, hours before President Trump announced the UK deal. And then we got some others from MSNBC.
It's been more than a month, if you can believe it, since Donald Trump announced his sweeping and pretty ridiculous tariffs. But Mr. Art of the Deal, as he calls himself, has not yet struck a single trade deal, not a single one, with any single country.
This is relatively low-hanging fruit. If you can't get a trade deal with the longest-standing and loyalist United States ally anywhere in the world over...
Donald Trump is backed into a corner. His grand plans of tariffs...
Guys, don't you love it that everybody, no matter what happens, Trump makes a trade deal with UK, it doesn't matter. Trump is making a trade deal with China. It doesn't matter. Trump derangement syndrome is so real, guys. But this is why it's super important that we bring the context. We bring you the truth, guys. We make sure that no matter what, the truth is going to get out there.
Tariffs aren't working, right? You're seeing day in and day out more business leaders, whether it's Warren Buffett or Jamie Dimon or Ken Griffin, on big global stages saying this is going to crush us economically.
So here's what the deal that he got done does. The UK deal opens up the market, the access for our companies to the tune of $5 billion. It anticipates $6 billion in annual tariff revenue for the United States as Trump imposes a set 10% tariff on the UK. And now we can sell products in the market like ethanol, beef, ag products into the UK, as the UK lowers its average tariff down to just below 2%. How about them apples, everybody? And remember this, the stock market, remember, it was crashing.
We are witnessing a market meltdown triggered by President Trump's historic trade war. Take a look. All three U.S. stock indexes hemorrhaging at the closing bell just moments ago. They went from we're going to lower prices on day one to you're going to need to take some short-term pain, and now none of us know how long that pain is going to last.
I will contain my anger, but only because I lived through 87, and in the end, I came out okay. I was in cash for the crash. I know what this feels like.
See the screen? The S&P 500 is down just 3% on the year. That is nothing. I hope all of you bought a little stock while it was down for literally a couple of days. So, yeah.
Guys, and you can't make this up, guys. This right here is the art of the deal, what you are seeing on screen, guys. Trump, U.S. announces China trade deal in Geneva. That's what I'm talking about, baby. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, everybody said Trump couldn't do it. Everybody said it wasn't possible and it was a bad idea. Well, guess what? America is winning. We're getting more money. We're saving, and our people are able to sell more, which is going to grow our economy, baby. Our True Life News t-shirts, guys, real American. This is what it's all about. If If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button. John Rampy, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show John some love in the chat, as well as Chris Marie, who said, in honor of Mother's Day, my birthday, and my son 2 years sober, praise Jesus. Amen. Let's go. Happy birthday. Y'all show Chris, Marie, and John Rampy some love in the chat, guys. We got such great news today. This is history. I love it.
The stock market crash didn't happen. And anyone remember the inflation under Democrats? Pretty bad, right? Like I said, tonight, we are going to be doing some celebrating. So here is this. The U.S. inflation rate now sits at 2.39% compared to 2.82% a month ago. And last year at this time, 3.48% winning. Thank you, President Trump. You said you'd get the inflation rate down, and you have. But here's what they're saying again on left-wing media.
You're going to sit here and you're going to try to be the party of the people when you're decimating small businesses, you're raising prices on everyday Americans.
What?
Really? Raising prices on everyday Americans? Well, then let's get to this. CNBC just put out a giant chart titled, "Where's the deflation in the U.S.?" And would you look at that? All kinds of grocery prices are going.
Guys, if this isn't winning, I don't care what, the Democrats are always going to be against Trump no matter what, but this is the CPI. This is literally from the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics. You cannot argue with this. Look how much prices are going down. Trump is winning. America is winning, guys. We are moving forward because leadership is finally putting America first, baby. This is what I'm talking about.
Down. Gasoline down more than 10%. All kind of products you enjoy, like your dishes, your flatware, TVs, cars and truck rentals, major appliances. The list is enormous. All having deflation. Again, when you have severe cases of TDS, you'll say some pretty crazy stuff, including things that are not true. Folks, it's only getting better. And even the mainstream media, like the Wall Street Journal, is having to come to terms with that. They've been out talking to American manufacturers and finding out that, guess what, these plans are working. And some companies are even saying this. We are running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we are swamped. That is according to Juergen's president, Jack Schron.
I love it, guys.
And polling, contrary to what the polling from the left would tell you, coming back pretty good, everybody. 70% of farmers expect the president's tariffs to strengthen the U.S. agricultural economy in the long run. I love to see it, don't you? And I just mean that. Left or right, if any president in the world was doing this, I would be thrilled. And at President Trump, he's doing it. This is also the running tracker on the White House website. All the companies.
Look at all those companies, guys. I'm telling you, we bring the receipts. All these companies are investing hundreds of billions of dollars into America. But you want to know what's sad? You want to know what's super sad is look what you're about to see on screen. That it says recession. This is literally from MSNBC. The title at the bottom of the screen. Recession warnings are everywhere except in the data. So you mean to tell me that everything in the data says that America is winning, inflation is down, prices on consumer goods are down, that we are growing and everybody's doing better, but because you want to put it out there that we're in a recession, even though we're not, you're going to put out some stupid stuff like this. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is so crazy that the MSNBC would go this low to try to bring Trump down, and put this on their show. Everybody knows they're lying. The truth is coming out, guys. Let me hear your thoughts in the comments.
To have announced investments into the United States. We are talking about some of the biggest companies in the world. $5 trillion in announcements, and it keeps going up. Now, you mean to tell me someone from the Democrats was going to accomplish something like this? I doubt it. Kamala Harris' plan was more government. It's important to remember what she was proposing back before the election. She was calling for this: the construction of 3 million new housing units in the next 4 years. It had been backed by the government. And then they were also going to back a $25,000 down payment in support for first-time home buyers. Government-backed homes, government-backed down payments. It was more like this, everybody. This is how it truly would have went. You know it to be true. Take taxpayer money, try and build 3 million new homes, screw it up, take even more of our money, try and fix it, screw it up even more, and then probably abandon the projects. And then all of a sudden, all of our money, nobody can account for it. It's mysteriously gone. Let's be honest. You know that's exactly how that all would have went down.
It's done. It's happened before.
Meanwhile, we have to sit back and watch scenes like this. Liz Warren, Bernie Sanders, AOC, other Democrats flying around in private jets on taxpayer dime. But for some reason, a very common sense agenda, one that puts the best interest of you, Americans first, is being made out to be some kind of freak show experiment by the left. When actually the real freak show is the left. Did you see Democrats and left-wing elite at the Met Gala over the weekend? Look at how they dress, everybody. Kamala Harris, she was there. She showed up to that. She wanted to be a part of it.
You can't make this stuff up.
We also had a guy running around with a piano on his back. Somebody actually showed up in a shipping container. That's how they arrived at the Met Gala. And when I say freak show, I don't mean just what they wear. I mean it all. The whole thing was a freak show. The senile man who was leading the party, Joe Biden, he's back on a speaking tour. He paid a visit to the...
Guys, I want to bring some context to what you're about to see and what you're about to hear, because there is fraud, corruption that Dan Bongino himself has come out and said, we are investigating this, guys. Look at this. So right now, this is insane. The Democrats funneled $1.3 billion per day. That's not, guys, we're not talking about million. We're talking about billion, guys. $1.3 billion per day to NGOs after Kamala Harris lost. What's worst about this is, think about this. The same loan program office had only loaned out $40 billion over 15 years. And then within a matter of 100 days, they put out over $100 billion. You cannot tell me, you cannot be naive to not think that something is going on. Corruption is there. They're trying to cover it up. Dan Bongino has already come out and said, you know what? We're investigating this because we know there's fraud, waste, and abuse, guys. They know it. They're calling it out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, this right here is our boys, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, exposing the fraud, the waste, the corruption, finally cleaning out the deep state.
View, and I think it went as expected. He could barely talk.
We found ourselves unable to deal with a lot of just basic issues, and which I won't go into in interest of time. And so we went to work, and we got it done. And you know, one of the things that well, and
Alyssa, you know, one of the things.
You talk too much, Joe. Joe, you're on a talk show. You are there to talk. That is the whole point of it. Your wife, Joe Biden, she had to step in and save him in that moment. He was losing his train of thought mid-sentence. Look, Joe Biden was senile. He still is, and Democrats covered it up, period. That is what happened. I know we're going to keep rehashing it time and time again. That is what happened, though. And I want to remind everyone of this, what he was actually left with, President Biden. That was a 1.4% inflation rate. That was an economy that was humming. Housing was very affordable. You had a secure border, and you had no wars going on around the world. I'd say he entered into a pretty good setup left by President Trump. That is why after 4 years with Biden in office, it was so bad, and he got kicked off the ticket. And then he was replaced by Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And those two, they couldn't campaign on the issues because their policy was awful, and it still is. Democrats...
Guys, and no matter what, everything that we're showing you guys, we bring the receipts. As you're seeing now, we are 100% winning with America. They said this was not going to happen. They said we're going to lose. We're not going to be able to make it. We're going to, China is going to be beating us. This is what all the Democrats said. But guess what? Trump, art of the deal, baby, comes out this weekend. They meet in Geneva, Switzerland. Him, Scott Bessent, all were able to make a plan, make a deal, and now it's being finalized, and the White House has officially announced it, guys. This is what I'm talking about. This is putting America first and not being afraid to show that we are going to be controlling the outcomes of our trade policies and not let ourselves be getting ripped off for as long as we have been, guys. If you appreciate this, let me know your thoughts in the comments. April Green, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers plus your wife, Joel. Yes, God wants us to prosper. That's why he put Trump in the White House as the president. Let's go. And Valerie Taylor, thank you so much for gifting 5 True Life News memberships. Let's go. Growing the True Life News family. If you got a free membership from Valerie, show her some love in the chat, guys. Y'all are so kind, so great. I am so excited about today's show, guys, because the winning is not stopping and we are kicking butt, guys. Listen to this.
Take this to the bank. We have changed the electorate to now be able to win because on traditional Republican orthodoxy, you can't win. You can't sell. It's not sellable to the American people because it doesn't work. This is why the country's in such bad shape, because Fox News and the Republican Party were controlled opposition, kind of went along with it. You're seeing it again right here. Look at all this happy talk. Look at all the lies being said about raising taxes on the wealthy. It's not that we want to raise taxes on the wealthy. The money must come from somewhere. And they're the driving factor on spending. I believe in incentives. It's a great incentive to give them a wake-up call. You don't want to pay higher taxes, then get your lobbyists to back off and help us cut this budget. Did you see 1 penny out of defense? And I consider myself a hawk. We don't need $1 trillion. And Russ Vought, the brilliant Russ Vought, his theory of the case now with the top up, the other $150 billion, that we get it all to these guys at one time, Dave. So now they don't come back every year, and then we have to have cuts. We can't cut social spending because we can't cut this. It's all kind of gobbledygook. We got to face reality and do it very basic. Like when you're doing a bankruptcy. When you're doing a bankruptcy, you come in, there's all kind of people are yelling and screaming. You got to get down to the basics. Cash in, cash out. What does my balance sheet look like? What can be monetized here? How do you do this? Number one, how do you cut spending? You're absolutely correct, but Dave, you sit there and you got Grover and you got Club for Growth, and they're all, they want to do this and they want to do this, and they Austrian economics. They never talk about cutting spending. We came up with $163 billion, which is just a lick and a promise.
Guys, let me tell you this. If Congress, I believe, is corrupt, you're going to hear from Mike Johnson in a moment. I don't care what they say, because you can talk the talk all you want, but when you walk it, that's what matters. Trump walks it. He's doing everything that he can with his executive orders, but Congress is not codifying his executive orders. They are taking vacations left and right. It is a joke right now with what we're seeing, and I am ready to see change. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because again, there is some talk, guys. There's 32 Republicans that are fed up with Mike Johnson. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, who say he needs to be replaced as Speaker. 32 Republicans, guys. That's up from 20 that we heard last week. So I think something's about to change.
That's on a 1.75 discretionary budget, $163 billion. And they're talking about how this is this is so many conservative wins here. Bottom line, let's just go to the bottom line of all the pieces that are coming together here. And Brett, help me out, brother. Right now, if you put this all together, the deficit in this budget of 26 is going to be $2.5 trillion. $2.5 trillion. I dare anybody to show me, and don't give me gimmicks. We're not going to, hey, I went to Harvard Business School and worked at Goldman Sachs. You're not going to put a gimmick past me. Don't give me a gimmick, okay? I don't hear gimmicks. You got all these gimmicks up there. They do this and do that, and conservative wins. I want to see cash in and cash out, because that's what's adding to the debt ceiling. And God, we need the debt ceiling. That's the only thing that keeps anybody honest. And as smart as Besson is, he's telling you, hey, I think it's going to be August. So the end of June, we got a financial crisis, got the constitutional crisis.
Guys, what did I tell you? This updated news is so crazy. And I'm telling you what, I'm getting spot on all this stuff. I told you they were supposed to pass the reconciliation bill at the beginning of May. It was pushed off because Johnson decided to take a 2-week vacation and then 2 days last week off. Then they said we're gonna pass it to July 4th. Now Scott Besson is coming out and saying it's going to be more like August, late August. And what did I tell you? It's probably going to be what? Labor Day, 1st of September. I'm telling you, the bunch of lazy Congress people need to get their act in order.
In July, beginning July, we got the BRICS nations meeting in Rio saying we want out. And a lot of them are not friends of the United States of America, like you saw Xi and Putin, like two teenagers, the last couple of days on their first date. And then you're going to have debt ceiling coming in. So this August, this summer, folks, don't get ready to pack the cooler and go to the beach, because this is going to be one of the most intense summers in the history of this country. It's all converging. And guess what? If we want to be masters of our fate, we're Americans. If we want to be masters of our fate and make our own decisions, we got to start having tough conversations and tough decisions. Otherwise, the rest of the world's going to have, our alternatives are narrowing and narrowing and narrowing. Dave Bratt, thank you for joining us this Saturday morning, sir. Your thoughts and observations.
Yeah, well, if you want no tricks and no fakery, go back to Russ Vogt in Center for Renewing America just probably about a year ago. He had 10 trillion cuts over 10 years. That's $1 trillion cuts over 10 each year, $1 trillion each year, right? And that still leaves you with $1 trillion deficit. But that was heroic work, getting rid of all woke and weaponized. And so now the Ways and Means Committee comes out with the budget drop last night. A lot of things are omitted. Right, the tax on tips, Social Security, all those things are missing. The SALT debate. There's another rich versus the middle issue. You got to be kidding me as Republicans. And then, as you say, the tax cut crowd, who I'm friends with, I like tax cuts. Everybody likes tax cuts. But they're not responsible for the existential threat of China. They're not responsible for the bond market erupting on our gross overspending, right? So that's what I was trying to get across in the clip. These guys have to play team ball and be adults in the room. It's nice to represent the billionaires, and some of the billionaires are great. Some of them are heroes, manufacturing, et cetera, and some are not. I didn't see the Fortune 500 weighing in on anything having to do with a responsible budget. They never do, right? So that's a mixed bag, and we got to design our tax policy appropriately. But all of this goes on the shoulders of Congress, right? You don't hear anything out of Congress. The lobbyists make the argument very clear. This is a disaster, right? Raising, and let me frame it properly, right? It's not raising taxes on everybody. It's raising taxes on families that make more than $5 million. That's the latest reporting from the Hill, right? So that's 0.01% of the population go up 2%. So it's not Armageddon. It's not the end of times to the billionaire class. And the tax cuts are $4 trillion.
But there's not enough squeeze in the juice in the squeeze on that. You can do that, but that, I'm not saying it's performative, but that doesn't. We have a math problem.
No, even that doesn't. Right.
First, they do mention tax on tips, tax on overtime, tax on Social Security, but in this at least 28 pages, and it's very early. It's just they just put it out to put something out over the weekend. Because
guys, let me tell you this: if what we need more of is what you're about to see on screen, guys, is that they will come out and tell us what the heck is actually going on when it comes to the tax bill, the reconciliation bill, because I don't believe Congress one bit, guys. To me, they're like slippery fish, every single one of them. But when Dan Bongino comes out, and our boy Dan Bongino tells it like it is, and he says the truth, says FBI is going to be releasing files on COVID, the cover-up, Mar-a-Lago raid, Epstein case, and more, you can bank on it, baby. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, I love whenever we know the people that we believe in actually come out and do what they said they were going to do. Just like Trump. Promises made, promises kept. Sandy, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Sandy Valenzuela, some love in the chat, as well as April Green, who said, happy birthday, Adeline Starr. I love it. Happy birthday, Adeline. Y'all show April some love in the chat, as well as Stephanie G. I love all this winning. God bless Trump and his team. I love it. Y'all show Stephanie some love as well, guys, because this is the thing. What you're about to see next, there is people that are calling out the left like they should be, and if we do not call out the right, the GOP, the supposed MAGA like we should be, we are going to lose the midterms. Listen to this, because this is 100% the truth of what happened with the Biden administration, all this stuff. But I'm telling you, if we do not get our crap in order and get this reconciliation bill, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, the tax cuts, we will lose the midterms. But listen to this, because I'm telling you, something is coming new out of the Democratic Party.
BS. That's straight BS. See, I'm not going to let y'all get away with that. I'm not going to let you get away with that. They said we were hearing the same thing about Hillary in 2016. Hillary won the popular vote by over 3 million votes. She didn't win an electoral college vote. Why was that? James Comey comes out with some report about deleted emails, 33,000 plus, a couple of weeks or so before the election. What misogyny got to do with that? Kamala Harris goes on The View, knowing that you had open borders, knowing the crisis it caused in this country, knowing that there was an economy that was compromised by inflation, knowing there was crimes in the streets, knowing there was those kind of things going on. And she went on The View when they asked if there's anything that she would do differently.
She said nothing.
That you were doing in your administration, President Biden. She said, I really can't think of anything.
Guys, and I'm telling you, this is the #1 front runner for the Democrat presidential nominee in 2028. Speaking common sense and calling out his own party for not being truthful with the American people.
Everybody knows that's where she sealed her fate. Everybody knows that. But that doesn't even come close to equating the damage you did, sir.
Ooh, calling out Biden, guys. I'm telling you, I love it. But guys, again, we're showing you everything that's happening today. Such big breaking news. U.S. announces China trade deal in Geneva. Guys, they said he couldn't do it. Every Democrat said he doesn't know what he's doing. He's a fake businessman. He doesn't know the art of the deal. Boom. White House renounces it, guys. You cannot get bigger than this. You cannot get bigger than Trump and Scott Bessent being able to get our biggest trade partner an actual fair trade plan. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments, because again, Trump's still less than 4 months into office, and look how much he has changed the world. He has changed American trade policy, secured the border, and now we just need to get Congress to get their butts in order and to put forth a bill, codify Trump's executive orders so that we can keep the winning going, guys. Listen to this, because I'm telling you, my faith in this guy you're about to see is down here. And there's 32 other Republicans that believe it as well. And they're saying they want a new speaker. Check this out.
100 days of Donald Trump as the 47th president. So give me an idea of some of the things the House has done to try and push forward the Trump agenda, because you guys have been working hard.
We have been working hard, trying to keep up with the president. The reconciliation package, of course, is a big part of that. And that will be the vehicle where we deliver most of the America First agenda. So a lot of work's gone into this. We've been working on that package for over a year in anticipation of this moment, because we knew he was going to win another term and that we would have unified government with Republicans in charge of the White House, the Senate, and the House. We cannot waste this opportunity. So there's not been a lot of rest around here.
But guys, I'm telling you, when he's talking, you don't see passion in his face. He literally talks as monotone as you can be, just saying, we knew he was going to win. We planned for it. Now we just got to get it done. That's like, there's nothing there, guys. Versus you watch Chip Roy or Marjorie Taylor Greene or Matt Gaetz, you could feel it in their hearts. They believed what they said they were doing, and they were going to do whatever they could to make it happen.
The White House, to have the House, and to have the Senate. It's only happened 4 times for Republicans in the past century.
Yeah.
So how are you capitalizing on this moment? Because this is a very big deal.
So we have very small margins. We have majorities in the House and the Senate, but very small. So we have to use that efficiently and effectively. And reconciliation is the process that you can do in a partisan fashion. You can put all of your Republican conservative priorities in one bill because you frankly don't need the Democrats to come along. And you might have noticed they're in no mood to help us out. And it's really sad because the country needs the parties to work together and restore common sense. And that's what the Trump administration has been about.
You have been Speaker under a President Joe Biden and now under a President Donald Trump. Give me the breakdown of being Speaker under each of these different presidents.
It's like being on 2 different planets, honestly.
Wow.
I mean, President Biden now infamously, everyone knows, he frankly was not in charge towards the end of his administration. The 4 years of the Biden-Harris administration put the country in such a terrible position. I mean, every metric of public policy was a disaster under that lack of leadership. So here comes President Trump. He comes in hot because he was ready to serve and ready to deliver. And
guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who do you want to see as Speaker of the House? Because I'm telling you, just like Linker said, I don't trust him talking out both sides of his mouth. I just don't see it. He literally was going to give the Biden administration everything that they wanted in the last in the continuing resolution from past December. Had so much fraud, waste, just so much pork, and if it wasn't for Doge, he would have passed it through.
Had great ideas in all these areas, but we had to make these major adjustments. We had to fix the country.
You have the Democrats on the other side who, you often see here at the Capitol, folks reaching across the aisle to try to work with one another.
Yeah.
How's that been going for you guys?
Not so great this term. I mean, they were not in any mood, and that's because it has less to do with us, more to do with them. I mean, their party's in total disarray. They're having an internal civil war right now. They have no identifiable leader. Their entire agenda has been totally repudiated by the American people. And so they really don't know where to turn. All they can do is fight back, right? And it looks like obstruction because it is. And it doesn't matter what President Trump proposes or what we propose, they're going to be against it. And it's frustrating. We would love to work with some reasonable, sensible Democrats, but there's so few of them seemingly at this moment that want to do that.
Talk about the importance of the unity of the Republican Party as we head towards those midterms, because I think it is in stark contrast to where the Democrats are.
It is, and that's a really important contrast. The House and Senate Republicans working together seamlessly as a team. That's a real innovation. That hasn't happened very often in history. We know that that's important because the margins are so small. So we stay unified. We go into this midterm election, we can grow the majority in the House and the Senate. And my focus is the House, of course. Now, there's only 2 times in the last 90 years that a sitting president has picked up seats for his party in that first 2-year cycle after he's elected. A lot of reasons for that. But Donald J. Trump is going to make history in this way, and we are as well.
There are a lot of voices in the Republican Party. Tell me a little bit about how you navigate those waters.
Well, we have a joke around here. I'm not really Speaker of the House. I'm a mental health counselor. Look,
I believe it.
I love all of my colleagues, genuinely. I know how they think. I know what makes them tick. And I know.
Guys, let me tell you this GOP disagreements. If you didn't hear me earlier, there is 32 Republicans that have signed a letter to Mike Johnson that said, look, homeboy, if you do not cut $1.5 trillion in this reconciliation bill, you're not getting our votes. We want to stop spending ourselves into oblivion. We want to stop the fraud, waste, and abuse. We want to codify the actual Trump Doge cuts. And this letter's out there, guys, and this is gaining steam because they said, look, if Mike Johnson's not going to do it, then we need a new speaker. So when they're talking about how he's navigating, you see it at the bottom of the screen, how he's navigating the GOP disagreements, he's trying, he's saying he's doing the best that he can, but what we're seeing on our side is that he is not moving fast enough for the American people or for Doge or for Trump. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support.
The dynamics of their districts. They see the same set of problems, same philosophy, but a different set of lenses on how to solve it. So the job of the speaker and the whip and our leadership team, our majority leader, is to draw everybody together and try to find consensus so we can solve the problems. And so far, so good. Sometimes it's good to be underestimated as a leader, and at the end of the day, we give God the glory for the victories.
Well, shortly after you became speaker, your two sons were out swimming and nearly drowned. I wonder if you might take us through that story, because I think that was probably a bit of a life-altering moment for you.
It was a difficult time for us, but it was about a month or so after I was elected speaker in 2023. It was in November. Vividly remember the time frame because it was the Thanksgiving break for my boys. At the time, I had a senior in high school, Jack, and Will, my middle school son. And they went with me on the trip to Mar-a-Lago, went down there to start raising money for the election for all my colleagues. My boys were out on the beach. They got caught in a riptide and pulled far out to sea in the Atlantic. They're great swimmers, great athletes, but this was more than they could handle. My older son went under to hold his younger brother up. He almost lost his life. Both of them almost drowned. And the only reason they were saved is because a parasailor happened to be going by and see my, 14, 13-year-old son at the time, his head, crying out for help. They're fine. No permanent damage, but a big scare. And as soon as we were home, phone rang. It was the president. And I'd not told him about it, but he called and he said, Mike, I can't believe, I heard what happened. He said, that's a miracle.
Guys, let me tell you this. How many times have we heard a story about when it comes to Trump finding things out, calling people and being personable and saying, hey, is everything okay? How are your kids? How's your family? Like right on it, guys. And that's what I love is you always see these stories of Trump being a hard butt. He's always, you remember you're fired, from The Apprentice, but I truly believe he cares about the country. He cares about his people, and he wants them to feel like, hey, look, I know what's going on in your life, and I truly care about you, and I feel like he truly cares about the American people, guys. That's just my take on it, because it's just time and time again, you hear about these very personable moments.
President Trump shortly after that, and I reminded him of that miraculous event with my sons down in Florida. And I said, sir, just as God saved my boys, he saved you as well. And that's not luck or coincidence, that's providence.
That's amazing. And I think one of the things that is very known about you is how important your faith is to you. And I read a story about a miracle, speaking of miracles, that happened with your own father when you were younger that maybe contributed to how impactful faith has been in your life.
Yeah, it happened when I was 12 years old. My father was a firefighter, and he was caught in an explosion on the job, on duty, and burned 80% of his body, third-degree burns. He had about a 5% chance to live. Wow. It's a long story, miraculous story, from how he was saved from the fire itself to how he recovered thereafter. But I learned very young at that age that faith was very real. It stuck with me my whole life, and it's a big part of what I do here every day.
And had God not intervened, Speaker Johnson...
Guys, let me tell you this. When we look at what Trump is trying to get his people to do, what he's trying to get his team to do, he is not playing around. This news actually, this came out late last night, guys, that President Trump has ordered DHS to bring on 20,000 more ICE agents to increase deportation efforts. Across the board, guys, when we see where Trump is not playing around, FBI from Dan Bongino, guys, is going to be releasing files on COVID cover-up, Mar-a-Lago raid, the Epstein case. What you're about to see next is so huge, guys, because Kash Patel being over the FBI, we want to see more arrests. We hear things are in the pipeline, but they say this is going to be the most consequential week we have seen thus since Trump has taken office, because there's a lot of high-profile people that are about to get the cuffs and be faced with criminal charges for the corruption that has been found by Doge, but also for all this other cover-up stuff. I want to say thank you so much, Lay Lewis, for the super chat. Let's go. Said Donald Duck would be a fabulous speaker instead of Johnson. Thank you, Joe, for everything you do for us. Let's go. Y'all show Lay some love in the chat. Guys, I want you to see this because more stuff is coming. They're 100% on it. Check this out.
Staff with. Happy to. I yield back, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Mr. Clyde.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, FBI Director Patel, thank you for being here today. As we all know, during the 4 years of the Biden-Harris administration, the once greatly respected FBI had been increasingly politicized and weaponized, drifting further from its core mission, and that is to protect and defend all American citizens. And Director Patel, I know you've been very new in the position, just a couple, 2-3 months, and you have a difficult task ahead of you. But I am very pleased and thankful for your confirmation, as I believe you are one of the best things that has happened to the FBI in at least the last decade, maybe 2 decades. Under the Biden-Harris administration, we saw the FBI weaponized against conservative ideologies, and more specifically targeted former President Biden's chief political rival, now President Donald Trump. Since President Trump first announced his candidacy in 2016, corrupt actors within the FBI unfairly targeted him, beginning with illegal surveillance of his campaign and administration, based on a now debunked dossier funded by Hillary Clinton's campaign, leading eventually to the unprecedented armed raid by the FBI on his home in Mar-a-Lago. This politicization extends beyond President Trump. The FBI under the Biden-Harris administration also acted against the First Amendment rights of everyday Americans. Armed agents raided the home of pro-life activist Mark Houck, pointing weapons at his family over a peaceful protest. Whistleblowers also revealed that the FBI's counterterrorism division labeled concerned parents as potential threats, simply for opposing radical gender policies in schools. I'm pleased to see that the President's budget request for FY 2026 directly addresses some of these concerns, stating that the administration is committed to rooting out the weaponization in the FBI. So can you outline for me the steps that the FBI is, or that you are taking to restore the FBI's credibility and ensure that it operates in a nonpartisan, impartial agency committed to protecting the rights and safety of all Americans?
Thank you, Congressman. What we're doing is the results we're seeing in Georgia, in Atlanta, specifically are working. And the baseline is simple. The field level agents and intel analysts will decide what cases to open and shut based on one constitutional standard alone, a reasonable, articulable basis that meets the FBI DI requirements and the requirements of the Constitution to do so. It is a yes or a no. It is not a gray zone. It is not our job as FBI agents to make prosecutorial decisions, and we will not. We will open cases to investigate, and we will refer matters to the Department of Justice. And when you see that methodology and ethos transcend the FBI, you see what you've seen in Atlanta in the last 3 months, which is 255 violent criminal offenders arrested, 72 kilograms of fentanyl taken off the street. That's 5.5 million people dead. That's off the street.
Let's
You've
go.
seen seizures of 11 kilograms of cocaine, 5,000 pounds of illicit narcotics, and
man, guys, if you appreciate Cash Patel, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, guys, thank you so much for your support. Justin Duvall, welcome to the family. Let's go.
It's enough lethal doses in total to wipe out half your state. If the FBI agents follow the Constitution singularly, that's what happens. And that's my standard.
That's great to hear, because I appreciate that very much. Director Patel, I also want to address a recent incident that has had a lot of my colleagues on the left, not me, up in arms. 2 weeks ago, federal law enforcement officers arrested Milwaukee Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan on charges of obstruction of an official proceeding after evidence came to light that she shielded an illegal alien from federal agents. So does Title 18, Section 1505 of the United States Code, titled Obstruction of Proceedings Before Departments, Agencies, and Committees, prohibit individuals from obstructing or impeding the due and proper administration of the law?
Generally speaking, Congressman, since that case is open, not commenting on that.
Okay,
yes.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I commend the FBI for its prompt action regarding the judge's alleged criminal behavior.
Yes.
That tells me that no matter what position you're in, all right, you will be held to one standard, equal justice under law.
That's true.
Thank you. All right. In recent years, particularly during the first Trump administration, we witnessed state and local officials openly expressing their intent to obstruct federal law, especially regarding immigration enforcements. This has contributed to the rise of so-called sanctuary cities, where local authorities have publicly stated that they will not cooperate with federal immigration enforcement efforts. So how does the FBI intend to respond when judges or other officials, elected officials, continue to take actions that hinder federal law enforcement, such as those observed in Milwaukee?
The FBI can only enter spaces under the Constitution that it is permitted to do so. We don't look at the position you're in, what your job is, where you come from, how much money you make, or what your ethnicity is. And for me, sitting here as the first minority ever to be the FBI director, I take that responsibility even more exceptionally so, because there has to be a colorblind system of justice. And we will execute the FBI's mandate of protecting the American people and upholding the Constitution to just that. It will be singularly applied to every single person in America. And not just that, it will be singularly applied to every single person within the FBI, because no one at the Bureau is above the law either.
Thank you. And one last quick thing. You had mentioned a need for additional building construction in Huntsville at Redstone. I believe that there's $500 million in the CJS building account and about $800 million in the FSGG account as well, what was going to be slated for the new building, that you might look at that as a resource.
Thank you. I did not know that. I will look.
Yes.
Yeah, what the? Guys, look, when they're like, oh, I think you want to do this. Oh, there's 800 million over there, and why don't you go look over there, because there's about 500 million over there. And then Patel's like, yeah, I had no idea. Guys, it just blows my mind how these people in Congress talk about money like it's nothing. But this is what I wanted to show you, because this is such a huge post from Trump today, guys. He said in just 3 months, trillions of dollars, and therefore a record number of jobs have been pouring into the USA. This is because of my tariff policy and our great November 5th election win. The very stupid Democrats are doing everything within their power to disparage what is happening. They are totally unhinged and have lost all levels of confidence. It is a financial revolution, and they are being crushed. MAGA, baby. That's what I'm talking about. We are winning, guys, like never before. And what I love is that when it comes to the policies, guys, you cannot argue that these are not America First policies. When it says U.S. from the White House announces China trade deal in Geneva. This is what we voted for. This is what we wanted. Putting America first so that we can continue to win. Ty Matt Chong, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. He said it seems he forgot how he became as a House Speaker. It took several votes to get his position. Need to change him who has passion and work done. Let's go. Y'all show Ty some love in the chat, as well as Nadine Jones. Thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Nadine some love in the chat. Guys, and I want to show you this because, again, we are digging. We're digging. The next big step, guys, for what has happened with, remember, the whole coup thing, the Biden administration, we're not letting that go. More evidence keeps popping out that what happened should never have happened. It was a scandal in itself. Listen to this.
Listen to this. The Democratic machine is revved up for a new coup. Sorry, John Fetterman, you're next. When Fetterman had a stroke during his Senate campaign, Democrats rushed to his defense. He could barely string a sentence together. But Republicans could not question his competence because that was ableist. It was bigoted, we were told. But Fetterman won his race. He battled depression and the effects of the stroke, and he got better. And to everyone's surprise, he turned into a Democrat maverick who won't toe the party line. That's a problem. The party that propped him up is now trying to tear him down one hit piece at a time, and they keep coming. Former staffers are running to the media saying he's mentally unwell. Quote his
guys, and just know that this is the same guy who literally came out weeks ago that says, you know what? There's going to be some things that I vote with Trump on because it's good for America and it puts America first. And now look at it. They're trying to oust him, guys. The Democrats are it's like they're so manipulative, they will put somebody out in a heartbeat if you go against their agenda.
volatile and concerning behavior, which aides noticed last year was taking a turn for the worse, has only increased since the election, people who have spent time with him said. That has coincided with a period when his politics have become more conservative. That was a reporter that wrote that. Now, Fetterman calls the story a hit piece.
It was a hit piece
one source, hit piece, some anonymous sources, so there's nothing new.
Would you say, Senator, people that are concerned about you?
No, they're not. They're actually not concerned. It's a hit piece, so.
Why do you think it was a hit piece?
There's no news.
Wow.
And the hits keep on coming. CNN demanding his private medical history.
Have you been keeping up with that, taking your medication?
I want to. My doctors are like, John is great, and I am on all of the plan that it's always been, and it's incredibly invasive. And why are people talking about anyone's personal medical things?
So you've only been treated for depression, not for being bipolar?
No, I haven't.
And hey, Debbie Shishmersky, I'm 100% with you in the chat. Because again, too, when I first saw him, I thought this dude was nuts, had the stroke. I was like, how is he going to be? But he's one of the most common sense Democrats out there. And look what's happening to him. Stephen A. Smith, one of the most common sense Democrats out there. And the Democrats, the left-wing progressives, cannot stand it, guys. And what I hate is that you want people like him that are more center-left than just completely left. Because then you can actually make a deal. You can actually get some America First policies. But it blows my mind how much they're trying to oust this guy just because he said that there would be some things that he would agree with Trump on and help to get it passed.
So someone that was trying to accumulate my medical records and leak those things, that's part of this weird grudge for this hit piece.
You fully plan to serve your full term here in the Senate?
Come on, of course, that's obviously.
Those are probing questions from CNN, and the media panicked when Republicans simply asked Joe to take a cognitive test. Now they want to look inside Fetterman's medicine cabinet? But the left thinks it's the Republicans who are the hypocrites. The Atlantic calls it the partisan mind virus. Quote, conservatives are now doing the exact same thing that the Biden defenders did, denying the obvious unfitness of a politician because he's politically useful. Is Fetterman unfit or just not compliant? The Atlantic is missing the point on purpose. Now, the right's criticism of Fetterman happened in real time. But now that he's better and thinking for himself, it's the left that's trying to skewer him for political purposes. Fox News contributor and author of the new book, Behind the Badge, Joey Jones, joins me now. Joey, when I think about AIDS leaking, there's a motive always when AIDS leak. And when I look through this New York Magazine piece, I read it in detail, and here's what I noticed. Their criticisms are layered with political criticisms on his stance on Israel. They say his conspiratorial thinking is linked to him saying he's a knowledgeable source on Israel and Gaza. They say the endless fight over Israel coincided with setbacks.
Guys, if you appreciate us exposing and just showing all this, we're showing all the fraud, corruption. If you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, I'm telling you, if there isn't a George Soros funded aid planning to get this guy out, everything that we've seen, it is mind-blowing. Our politics are, especially on the left, guys, and there's some on the right too, but especially on the left, are controlled by these crazy left-wing billionaires.
Recovery regime, and that the war in Gaza lured him back onto X. In other words, the problem, it may not be his mental situation, it may be that he's pro-Israel.
The only issue that Democrats have less credibility on than cognitive awareness would be the border. But outside of that, they have zero credibility in questioning someone's cognitive ability. The irony here isn't just the Joe Biden comparison, it's the Fetterman comparison. When he had suffered his stroke and couldn't utter words together, they were 100% behind it. When he literally could not communicate the thoughts in his head, when he couldn't say good morning, he struggled to say anything on the campaign trail, they said, you should support him and he's going to be our senator. And to his credit, he won. I'm not a John Fetterman fan. I hope a Republican runs against him and wins and takes that seat. I don't trust him to be a conservative because he supports Israel. But I do think he thinks for himself. I don't see any reason why anyone would think that he has some sort of cognitive disability. The man has done something miraculous. He's recovered from a stroke from the point that he couldn't utter words together to where now he can say things that make people mad.
Yeah, I got to say something controversial. I like the John Fetterman hoodie. I think it's a cool little dress code and kind of a marquee brand symbol. But when you think about Joe Biden, you think about these staffers that created the cocoon around him. There was all this reporting that it was Joe Biden's staff that even kept out the resident staff. You did not have AIDS leaking for years and years. But with Fetterman, there's a distinct difference. And in your view, I mean, do you think it's a policy disagreement this comes down to? Are there people who are so motivated over something like the war in Israel that they would be willing to just throw their boss under the bus?
Wow.
I think that it's a little bit of all the above. I think that John Fetterman shows Democrats that are trying to grasp power right now that there is an absolute lane for someone who does what Trump did, which is to take a populist or even moderate or just reaching across the aisle approach on an issue that's important to people. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the AOCs and Bernie Sanders or who the people are that are trying to direct a party. I guess David Hogg is one of them. They don't want that.
Yep.
They certainly don't want to see it be successful. And the one thing that is different about Democrats and Republicans in the Senate and the House is quite simply that Republicans don't rule with an iron fist. Democrats traditionally do.
Yes.
And they don't like people that step out of line.
That is a definite distinction. Congratulations on...
Guys, let me tell you this. They do not like it when people step out of line. But what I'm looking forward to is what you're seeing on the screen, guys, is that we are going to be seeing some big stuff this week from Bongino, FBI releasing files on COVID cover-up, Mar-a-Lago raid, Epstein case, and more. This week, we're going to be hearing from the Supreme Court on what's happening, but Trump has made the art of the deal happen with the trade policy with China coming to a huge, huge win, guys, in Geneva, Switzerland over this weekend. Trump is making it happen, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching right now, guys, to all of our subscribers, all of our viewers. We could not do it without you. We're so grateful that you support us. If you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button, joining us here at TrueLife News. We want to take care of you with the top news. We are bringing the truth, guys. No matter where it comes from, we're bringing receipts, we're bringing the context, and we're showing you everything, guys. And we want to bust our butt to give you the best show ever, guys. That is what we want to do, and we just appreciate you for liking these videos, for sharing these videos. I want to give some love to our members of the channel, guys, and thank you so much for your continued support. Remember, on the 22nd of this month, we're donating live on stream to a children's home. Guys, these kids don't got nothing. We help them out. It's a local charity, and it's changing lives, guys. You can go check it out. The name is Tupelo Mansion, a wonderful charity. I'm so excited. You're going to be seeing this guy donating thousands of dollars live on stream with your support. When you're a member or you give a super chat, that's where it goes to, guys. We are making a difference with this channel with your support. I want to give some love to John Reppy, Chris Marie, April Green, Valerie Taylor for gifting 5 TrueLife News memberships. Sandy Valenzuela, Stephanie G, Lay Lewis, Justin Duvall, Ty Matt Chong, Nadine Jones. Guys, show them some love in the chat. We're so excited for where things are going. We're so excited for what God is blessing this channel and blessing our giving. And just we're growing an amazing community that believes in making a difference. Appreciate you so much. We love you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.